Welcome back to my channel. Do you remember how Jace ran away from school and his mother, Barbara Evans, told TMZ that she believed the reason he ran away was because Jenelle Evans and David Eason took him off his medication and stopped allowing him to see his therapist? That caused quite the stink with Jenelle. In fact, she went and sought out a restraining order against her mother, Barbara, as a result of those claims that Barbara made to the press. She vehemently denied everything that Barbara was saying. She claimed that Barbara was causing a lot of distress to Jace based on her claims and whatnot. Well, now, in another failed attempt to get a restraining order against her mother, Jenelle Evans has spilled her own tea. And when I say that she spilled her own tea, I mean exactly that. She spilled her own tea. So basically, she exposed herself as being a liar. So according to court documents obtained by the Ashley's Reality Roundup, when Jenelle went to apply for this restraining order, she put in a lot of very shocking information, which we'll all get to later on. But let's start off with the medication and the therapy. Jenelle literally says that Jace she stopped having Jace go to visit his therapist, something that Barbara had in place while she was his custodian. And it wasn't until Barbara spoke to TMZ condemning Jenelle from, withholding the therapist from him that Jace finally went back to seeing a therapist. In fact, she, as usual, is placing the blame on other people for that. She's not saying that Jace is going back to therapy because he needs it or anything like that. No, she tells the judge or the court that the reason why Jace had to go back to therapy is because of Barbara making these statements to TMZ. You really cannot make things up with her. It's wild. So Jace has also been on ADHD medication for about 7 years. This is something they've been open about since his time on Teen Mom 2. And we knew that he was taking medication for it. A lot of Teen Mom fans have always suspected that Jenelle and David had been taking those pills from him. And now I don't even know what to believe anymore, you guys, because that's another thing that she admitted to, that she was not giving him that medication anymore. Wow. So she says in a direct quote, Barbara Evans lied to TMZ Media because Jace Evans is not prescribed any medication for his mental health. Jace Evans needed to start therapy after the TMZ article incident due to his depression and anxiety, and Barbara Evans caused from giving her exclusive statement. Like, girl, she really is something, you guys, I have to say. So what has been happening with the ADHD medication that Jace was indeed prescribed? And we've known that he's been prescribed ADHD medication, again, since his time on Teen Mom 2. I would love for the investigation into David and Jenelle to reveal that. By the way, you guys, we're going to get into depression. And I got to say, when I first read the story about Jace struggling with depression and whatnot, my heart broke because I just feel like childhood is like that small sliver of time where everybody is going to bend over backwards to make sure that you are happy, to give you like a great, wonderful first few years introduction to this world and everything. And so the fact that some children don't get that. And in fact, they don't even get like a neutral childhood or anything like that, but they get like a truly tortured one, like an awful one, a depressing one. That genuinely breaks my heart for them. So, this goes out to Jace and all the other children who go through this as well. Because again, like those first few years, they're so small. It sounds like a lot, 18, but it passes by so quickly. And those are the years that set you up for the rest of your life. So just to hear that this is something that, he's gone through and he's needed medication to help with is really, really, really devastating. So yeah, when it comes to the depression stuff, according to Jenelle's court filing, Barbara Evans authorized for Jace to be able to take an antidepressant while he was at the hospital after his third runaway stint. And Jenelle considers this to be an act of bodily harm against Jace. And it's quite stunning to me how she doesn't want him to be medicated at all for his ADHD and now allegedly for depression. I wonder if this is her speaking or if this is David conspiracy theorist Eason speaking. So Jenelle claims that Barbara lied to the hospital, stating that she was the primary guardian of Jace and that it's not true, and that Jenelle has primary custody, which we now know is the untruth here, because Jenelle does not have primary custody of Jace. Jace, as of right now, is under the custody of the CPS. She continued on to say that she did not consent to Jace getting this medication in the hospital, and is very upset by Barbara's actions. And there is a concern for Jace's safety, because Barbara could have called the doctor to prescribe any medication without Jenelle's consent. Again, Jenelle, you do not have custody of this child, so it does not matter. So she did also make an allegation against Jace. I don't want to get too deep into it, because this one to me is very, very dark. But basically, she's claiming that Jace is not in the hospital because he fears for his life, or fears David or anything like that. She's claiming that he's in the hospital because he's got self-harm issues. And I just feel like, wow, that is super duper low to bring the gaslighting of your son to that level, right? He's terrified of your husband, doesn't want to be near your husband, and you blame his stint on himself. And if that is the case, Jenelle, why were you not in hospital with him? Why did you not know where he was for several days? Why were you not speaking to him? Why is there some sort of kind of blackout on this? Should you not be bending over backwards to be as close to your son as possible if this is the true case with him? It just does not make any kind of sense to me. And I feel like this is just another case of Jenelle ADMITS throwing her son Jace under the bus. Again, I don't want to get too deep into that, because I feel like that's way too much. I can't, it really, really is harmful what she's doing to him. So then we get to find out that Barbara had tried communicating to Jace through his girlfriend, and Jenelle tried to paint it as this weird thing. She's like, Barbara was communicating with a random minor to stalk my son. No, Jace's mom, Barbara, was communicating with Jace's girlfriend because you blocked her contact with Jace. And the message that Barbara had sent to Jace's girlfriend said, and I quote, "Tell Jace we will be going to court and this will all be over soon. Also, I have the custody order in place, so you were to call and text me if Jace is struggling mentally and he needs to see a doctor." So, yeah, you guys, now this is where things really take the cake. Jenelle accused Barbara of having Munchausen syndrome. Every time I hear Munchausen syndrome, I think of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Lisa Rinna with her phone accusing Yolanda Foster of having that. So she's claiming, and I think that this is where she's claiming that, she thinks that Jace has depression, ADHD, and all sorts of things because she's got Munchausen. Meanwhile, that is a symptom of Munchausen by proxy and not Munchausen itself. If anybody has Munchausen in the Teen Mom universe or in the C-list celebrity universe, it would be Jenelle. Jenelle, I very clearly remember last summer her talking about how she was going to lose her ability to walk in exactly 3 days from that TikTok stream she was doing. Just a bunch of craziness. Anytime you hear her, it's a new illness or whatever. Remember when she was seeing molecules, she had cysts on her spine, then she had esophageal spasms, then she had this, then she had, she's had at least 30, and I'm not even exaggerating here, at least 30 illnesses she claims to have all simultaneously. And she's accusing her mom of Munchausen's. It is incredible, you guys. I really do have to say. So another thing was that Jenelle was trying to block Barbara's access to firearms. I don't even know if she has any. I didn't even think that was a thing for her. But yeah, she wanted that drop. She was like, if she has any, she needs to surrender them. These are the things she was asking for in the restraining order. And just it's just wild. Someone who lives with David Eason, who's got a shed full of weapons and ammo and is literally unstable, is making these demands of someone else. The audacity, you guys. Now, anyway, Jenelle actually wound up voluntarily dropping this filing at the end of this, you guys. So I guess she knew she was wasting her own time. At that point, maybe she was a bit more aware of how dire her situation, her custody situation is with Jace, that it's gone and it doesn't look like it's ever going to come back again. Because how do you lose custody of your child for the second time in about the span of 6 or 7 months? That is insanity. And so now she sees that the court trust Barbara with Jace a lot more than they trust Jenelle with Jace. There's this order saying that she and David can't even speak to Jace. So um it looks ridiculous, incredibly foolish to be filing this restraining order, acting like Barbara, of all people in this situation, is the danger to Jace and needs to stay away from Jace and the rest of Janelle's family. Just absolutely ridiculous. Look how happy the two of them look, just driving out and about after the order was put into place. Meanwhile, Jenelle and David are on the swamp trying to revive his image with all sorts of just garbage mess. They're posting pictures of some of that nasty food they'd be eating. Some of you guys actually just tweeted that to me on Twitter. That's why I'm thinking of it. Like, it just, like, did you guys watch Big Brother? Like when the people have the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots have to eat slop for a week. That's what it looks like they eat. Like, it's just, I don't know why they're putting that mess on social media. It just looks so gross. I don't see any nutritional value. I just see a bunch of clogged arteries when I see their food, but I digress. Guys, let me know what you think about this situation. Was Jenelle wrong to pull Jace off the medication that he had been taking consistently for 7 years? Was she wrong to stop taking him to therapy? Was she wrong to try to deny him from antidepressant medication as well? There's an awful lot going on here. So any comments you have about the situation, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.